Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Pack and Rally episode 3, and today I'm coming to you live from Blackwattle Bay in Sydney. Today's topic is travel in the context of vacation. For most of my life, I thought that travel and vacation were synonymous with one another because I never actually did either of the two until I was well into my 20s. And when my friends and relatives talked about travel or vacation, they really always talked about spending 1 week on a cruise or 1 week at some destination or an all-inclusive, and that's vacation, that's travel, that's what you do in America, because normally you only have 2 weeks of vacation a year, so you don't really have a lot of time, you don't really have a lot of money, and you don't really have too many options. But when I did start traveling, when I spent my first 6 weeks in Europe, I realized that there is a huge difference between vacation and travel. In fact, the only similarity between vacation and travel is that when it ends, you have to go back to work. Vacation for me is getting away from the daily routine for a little bit, it's taking a break, but still knowing that you're attached to that life. When I take a 2-week break from work, that's a vacation. I'm going back to work. When I take a 3-month trip and I say that I'm going to go travel the world, I mean I am going to travel the world, and that's the only focus I have for those 3 months. There's also another difference when you're traveling versus when you're on vacation that I think is really important to explore. When you're on vacation, it's really about relaxation, about getting away from the things that stress you. It's about taking it easy and trying to disconnect. For me, travel is the complete opposite. It's so intensive. For me, when I travel, I want to get to know the culture. I want to connect with new people. I want to think about, oh, what can I do? Where can I go? What can I learn? How can I be more active? In fact, when I travel, I'm so much more active and more personable, more social. I'm a much better person when I travel than when I'm at home, and that's partly because I have to be social and I have to make friends because I'm out here on my own. And even when I did have a travel partner, I think just the idea of traveling and knowing that the objective is to explore, to learn, to grow, to experience the world, and not just take a break, put life on pause, or, just be happy that I'm not at work. So when you think about travel and you think about vacation, really it's important to separate them in your mind. Because when you think about vacation, it's really a short break from work. It's a short break from your life. So when you say, I'm gonna save up for a vacation, you're thinking, I'm gonna save up as much money as I can so I can spend all of it in 1 week, and then save up again so that I can save all of it, save up and spend all of it another week. When you travel, especially when you travel for longer periods of time, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, you have very little opportunity unless you're a backpacker or you are someone who has passive income or has another strategy of earning money while away. You really don't have a whole lot of time or opportunity to make money. So when you're traveling, it's more about budget conscious, it's more about the biggest bang for the buck and how do you keep your expenses down, which is an important thing. Travel is cheap, vacation is expensive. Travel is cheap because when you're traveling, you don't really need to go for the 5-star hotel. You don't need to go for the 4-star hotel. You don't need the pool or the jacuzzi or the gym, because mostly you're going to spend your nights in your accommodation sleeping, and you're going to spend your days walking through the city, walking on the beach, taking a climb, doing whatever it is. You spend most of your day out exploring the world, talking to people, making connections. You don't really lounge by the poolside. You don't go to the pool on the boat. You don't spend the whole day drinking. So that's a really important mind switch. It's a really important switch in your mind that you have to make. Is when you talk about travel, it's about exploring. It's about figuring out who you are, discovering other cultures, meeting new people, eating the food that you normally wouldn't eat, seeing the world through someone else's eyes. And when you're on vacation, it's all about basically me. I want to sleep in late. I want to drink all day. I want to relax by the poolside. I want to do anything but think about work or my life or the bills or what have you. When you're traveling, it's really about, I would love to see that painting in the Louvre, or I'd love to see that Sistine Chapel, or I'd love to go hike that mountain. It's so completely different, and it's so I don't know, it's so completely different. So when I talk about travel in previous episodes and future episodes, really try and focus in on, this is not a vacation. This is not something where I am living the high life or I'm trying to spend as much money as possible, because we'll talk about sleeping in hostels, you know, where you get a room that you share with 3, 6, 10 people, and you eat breakfast, it's cereal or toast, and then you head out for the day and you don't really come back. We'll also talk about Airbnbs, couch surfing. We'll talk about I know I said I would talk about it in this episode, but I'm going to push it back a little bit longer. Skiing in Aspen during the middle of the summer, meeting CEOs, people that you really shouldn't meet. But it's important to know, especially for you Americans, that when I talk about travel, I'm not talking about vacation. And that's the reason why we don't really have a common understanding of what we're talking about. I'm talking about travel, you're talking about vacation. So going forward, I want us both to talk about travel. I want us to both talk about and understand that this isn't a night at the Ritz-Carlton, this isn't a honeymoon, this is real. This is, let's sit down at a restaurant that's a hole in the wall where the waiter may not speak English, and we're gonna order something on the menu that we hope is not fish or dog. Those are the fun experiences. Those are the moments that I cherish, and that's what really I want to talk about. Because to be honest, I don't fly first class. I don't stay at 4-star hotels. I don't lounge by the poolside or spend much time at the beach. I'd love to do all of those things, but that's really not what my life is about right now, and that's really not who I am. And that's not what this podcast is about. It's about learning how to experience other cultures, learning how to discover new places, learning who you are and what you want and what's really important to your life. Because once you decide that you don't need the 4-star hotel, you can have just a bed. Once you decide that you don't need the designer clothing and the Gucci bag and the Coach wallet, all you need is a backpack and some sneakers. Once you really pare down your life to just your basic necessities and you realize, wow, I could live on $1,000 a month or less, or I really have too much stuff, or I really didn't know that having so little could make me so happy, or that I was trying to cover up or make myself happy with these material things, spending money on things and not experiences. And I'm sure there's some people out there that are happy when they purchase things and spending things, and I'm sure that the rule buy experiences, not items, is true for most people, but not everybody. But this podcast, this episode, this series is really for the people who want experiences, who want to live life differently and to understand different cultures, to explore the world and have opportunities that they didn't think were possible. So that's it for this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of Pack and Rally. We'll dive deeper into travel, and please share this video, subscribe on my YouTube channel, and tell me what you think. Alright, till next week.